bevilágít a lámpa, onnantól hallanak téged.
Ott a lámpa, igen.
Jó, tehát
So,
ha nem esik ki,
good
akkor nem kell
afternoon,
elcsíptetni,
Mariann.
ha félő, hogy kiesik. Ez így jó szerintem.
Jó? Okay. So, do you think people can hear me? So, can you hear me all right at the end? Also, okay. And what about the online, the streaming? So, okay, because there's a 1 minute delay. Okay, so oh great, fantastic. So I'm going to switch it off for. Okay. So, dear viewers, we are having some technical issues, obviously, so we would like you to wait a little while everything is sorted out properly. Just a few minutes and we are starting. Jézus anyja. Okay. Jaj, de szuper, jó. Jó. Már csak... Oké. A másik akkor az már most csak ez az IELTS, nem ez kell, az IELTS kell. Aha, ez kell. Szuper. És akkor annyit, hogy várjál csak, azt mondja.
Róla nem lesz hangjátszó, ugye? Akkor nem némítom, hogy csipog ilyen.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ah, okay, no. Escape. Majd azért, mert tehát az milyen idő intervallumjaink vannak? Onnan, ahonnan kezdjük?
Igen.
Ja. Tehát nem féltől, hanem...
10 perc csúszása.
Okay. Great. Oh. Ezt meg kicsit, hogy ne essek óra mindenbe. Oké. Okay. Figyú. Okay. Ne haragudj, Dani vagy? Gyere, segíts neki, hogy ez nem kell, nekem csak ez kell, mert ez nagyon zavar engem. Tehát, hogy csak azt lássam, ami ott van. Ezt nem tudom.
Ez a szegénység.
Na, that's it. Most meg ott van, oda nem? Hát még várjál. Akkor ezt nem lehet innen letörölni a fenébe. Mindegy, akkor... Na, ezt nem. Okay, that's okay. Because it's completely different. Az micsoda? No. Why not? Jó, de az még installálja magát, nem egy semmi. Hagyjuk a turba. Okay. Mindegy, akkor hagyjam. Oké, hát nem örülök, de nem baj. Oké, that is switched on. So, can we start? Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Mariann György, and I'm here on behalf of CLET and Delta Publishing, and thank you very much for NYESZE for the opportunity to be here. For the viewers online, I would like to tell you that first I'm going to talk about IELTS preparation, and because there are so many fantastic books I want to talk about, probably it's going to be a little bit longer. So how we divide our presentation, it's like not 60 minutes, but probably the first session will be a bit longer, but we will definitely tell you when to come back for the second part of our book presentation. Okay, so first of all I would like to say hello to everyone. There are some familiar faces here. So as you know, it's IELTS preparation, and with Delta Publishing we are going to talk about. My very first question before we go to our schedule today. So I'm going to talk about what IELTS is and why, and then we're going to talk about 3 different titles. What and why? So first of all, I'm sure you are familiar with IELTS. Who has ever taken IELTS? Can I have a show of hands? So no one has ever taken. Who has ever prepared student for IELTS? Okay, that's fantastic. One, and you don't. Okay, just one person. Okay, so you know what we are talking about. Who is familiar with IELTS? Can I have a show of hands? Okay, because I just don't want to say things you know obviously. So anyway, so you are the only one who probably knows what IELTS is, right? Okay, so I can then definitely go into a little bit more details when it comes to the exam itself. The challenge is why it's not an easy task to take the exam and to prepare for it. We're going to talk about that, and actually how this is remedied by 3 really good courses. I got these courses, the books, just a month ago, and I have to tell you that they are really good, and I really had a lot of time. I spent a lot of time dealing with it, and they really help you to get your students through the preparation. So IELTS is an exam, and obviously, as all the other exams, it tests 4 skills: listening, reading and writing, plus speaking. So it's very clear what is extremely important and why it has an international reputation, because it's a product of 3 high quality institution. One is British Council, and it's important because you can only take IELTS at the British Council in Hungary. British Council Hungary has a site here in Budapest, and there is one more center, which is Szeged. So you can take IELTS over there, but obviously you have to check when are the dates. The other extremely high-profile institution which put together IELTS is Cambridge Assessment English. So that's the University of Cambridge, and that's the language exam center of the university. I'm sure everybody knows about First Certificate and Cambridge Advanced and Proficiency, so this is Cambridge. And the third one you might not be familiar with, this one, IDP, but if you live in Australia, you obviously know that that's an Australian company, and it deals with education, so it's a high-profile educational provider. So actually these 3 institutes, obviously it ensures that the quality is quite high, and you can always be sure that the quality is retained. So highest quality control, that means, because I'm involved with the British Council with some exam, I help out with exams, and I can see how strict that is. So when it comes to high quality control and security procedures. So test design is done by these institutions I was just mentioning, and obviously it's tried and tested in the procedure. Administering the test, this is what we are doing here at the British Council, and I can tell you it's extremely strict. For example, students can go in, they can't have anything with them. Just probably tissues and medicine and water in a transparent bottle. It's very important. So they can't have watches, because nowadays we don't really know whether a watch is a smartwatch or not. So they can't have anything. Obviously, no phones and no electronic devices. And actually, British Council provides pens and pencils, so nothing basically. And it's extremely strict when it comes to sitting the test. So, the candidates go in and they sit there for nearly 3 hours, and they can't go out. They don't have access to their phones. They can go out to the toilet only, but they're escorted by somebody. So it's extremely strict. But I'm quite sure, but this is one of the reasons that this exam is recognized everywhere in the world. I mean, this is one of the criteria. Marking is again done in very secure environments, and marking is done all over the world by highly qualified examiners, and in the UK as well, and in Australia as well. Reporting, again, it tells you at the end where exactly are you in the scale when it comes to all the 4 skills. So actually these are the quality control and security issues, and that's why, so because of all of these things, you can be sure that it's recognized and it's trusted. So you said you prepared students for an IELTS. So why did they need this exam?
For the first time, expected for a second time.
Okay, actually you said fail, but the thing is you can't really fail, and I'm going to show why. Okay, there's no fail, and you know I'm going to show you why. But was that person interested in studying or moving to a different country? A job, okay. I'm going to tell you about that. Okay, so it's trusted and recognized everywhere in the world, and definitely if you go online, I'm going to show you the website. You will see you can find and you can look for the institutions where it's recognized. Actually, you can see, and I'm going to tell you about it. Academic or general. Again, your student will come saying, I need an academic IELTS. Or they will tell you they just need a general training. Okay, so what's the difference? Academic, the name suggests that it's good for your for higher education. So if your student wants to study abroad, and nowadays more and more students do that, the university tells them what are the requirements, and they tell you that I need IELTS 6 or 7. Again, I'm going to go into details later. So the university or the institution tells you what level IELTS they need, but they recognize it. This is when you take academic. If you are a doctor, a lawyer, and if you want to work abroad, this is a high-profile job, then you again need normally academic. General is for migration purposes. So if you want to live in Canada, if you want to live in Australia, this is what they need. General, I'm going to tell you why it's different. There's a little bit of difference. We'll tell you why. So migration purposes, it was the other one. Can you see it well, even from the distance? Okay, so this is very important. I just told you before that you can't fail, right? Because it's a test. IELTS is an abbreviation in International English Language Testing System. It's a test, so it's like you go to your in your memory to your secondary school, you sit a test. Everybody writes the same thing, and you get a mark at the end. This is the system of IELTS, so everybody writes the same thing, everybody, no matter what level they are, and eventually they get a mark. And the university or the immigration body tells you what mark they accept. So that's why I say probably that person wanted a higher level, right? So that for him he considered it fail, but you can't really fail. So I'm going to have another slide, but I just wanted to show you. This is where we start. IELTS starts measuring. It's like mid-A2, and it goes high up to C2. So actually it has 9 bands. We call them bands or scores. So it's extremely important when you have a student to ask, what is your need? What score do you need? Otherwise, we just don't know what level he or she needs. So it's very important. And I just put it here for you to see the relation. And actually, these are with the names. So, for example, B2 first, it's not a one-to-one relation, but let's see, 5.0, above 5.0 till 6.5, that's B2. And for the advanced, it starts at 6.5, it goes up to 8, and above 8 It's extremely high level. So if your student wants to study, for example, in Cambridge, so one of the top universities, the university tell you that, okay, we need 7.5. Not sometimes, most of the cases, it is different when you want to study for a bachelor degree. It's normally a little bit lower. It can be 6.5 or even 6, depending on the course. But if you want to study for a master degree, then it definitely goes higher. Or you need a PhD. That's another issue, then you need quite high. I just heard that in Hungary, more and more English language, more and more universities who have who have courses also in English. For example, the Medical School of Budapest, Semmelweis. When they advertise their not courses, while their tuition, they also can ask for IELTS because it's tried and tested. So I think it's coming to Hungary too. So what I put together, and I think it's very, for me it was quite good to see. I just put the Hungarian equivalent and the school leaving exam together. In many cases, actually, you can write down whatever you like, but if you want, we can send you the slides. Okay, so we can send you it by email, so you don't have to make notes. If you want to, it's up to you. So nowadays we have the final exams at school, and there are some confusions because of the names. A lot of secondary school leavers, they would like to take IELTS, and for them it's very important to know if they take a középszintű érettségi, that's still just a B1. And this is 4.0 to 5.0 in the IELTS scale. Okay, so this is it. If they take an emellt szintű érettségi, that's a much better, much higher score, 5.5 till 6.5. And this is in the Hungarian accreditation system. It's középfokú nyelvvizsga, and in the Cambridge way, it's the first certificate. Here C1, 7.0 upwards, and that's felsőfok. In Hungarian, we don't have anything for proficiency. That's why these two levels, we consider them felsőfok. So actually above 7.0, it's felsőfok. One very important thing to mention, if you take IELTS and you score, let's say, somewhere here, you go to the Hungarian Accreditation Board and you can honosítani. I don't know how to say it because we say nationalize, or there are so many different ways, but you understand honosítani. So you can have a Hungarian felsőfok if you have that. Okay, with a little, I think there's an extra fee to it, but I think it's worth doing. The other extremely important thing, what it's worth mentioning, that IELTS is only valid for 2 years. I had some teachers asking me whether you have to renew it. No, you don't have to renew it. We are teachers. If you want to teach someone, we want to see a fresh certificate, right? So if it's older than 2 years, no, we want a new one, okay? So you don't have to renew it. If you want to apply to somewhere new, then you have to take it if it's older than 2 years, okay? It's very important. When it comes to the Hungarian accreditation, so if you have this, you accredit for the Hungarian system and you get a felsőfok, this is for life. And if you want to go, let's say, now you take it this year, in 2020 you want to apply to Aberdeen, then you have to take it again because it's outdated, but your felsőfok will be with you forever. Okay, it's good to know for you as a teacher. Okay, we talked about academic and general, and it's very important because the books always have that on the back somewhere, whether they prepare for academic or general. The listening and the speaking is the same. No difference whatsoever, no difference. The difference lies in the reading and the writing. So as you can you see it from the back? Yeah, okay, great. Anyway, as you can see, the minutes, the timing, and the number of items are the same. The content is a little bit different. Here again, the task, there are 2 tasks and 60 minutes for everything, but the content is a little bit different. If you write the academic with university entrance in mind, then you will have materials which help you in your further studies. For example, you have to read with some scientific text. Don't worry, these are not for experts. It's like the National Geographic or something like that. Okay, so it's understandable for everybody, but it's more to a more serious thing. This is the academic. If you deal with general, the reading is going to be a little bit different. It's more about job adverts or hands-on information or handbooks. So it's more down to earth. I'm not saying one is more difficult, or one is more difficult than the other. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different, and it's the same thing with the writing. So different contents. So again, it's very important when you have students to find out whether they are taking one of them. Okay. So I'm going to talk about this book, IELTS Intensive. Actually, you know what? Now I'm just showing it on over there because we're going to deal with them. So this IELTS Intensive is a short course, but I'm going to go into details. These 3 books, they go together. They are about different skills, and all of them about the academic, except for speaking and listening, because that's it's the same for everyone. But these have academic style examples and tasks in them. It's very good to know. So these are really very good high-profile skills books. And the last one we are going to talk about is a resource pack, which is again a one-off investment because it's photocopyable, so you can just have it on your shelf, and whenever you have some, there's a need, you can photocopy. Or I don't know whether you work in a language school, so it's a one-off investment. I'm going to talk about all of them in details. So the first one is this one, and actually you are so scattered. Robbie, would it be possible to help me? Actually, we are handing out, thank you, we are handing out some pages which you can take home, and we hope to talk about them a little, if time allows. If we don't, we can't really dive into all of them because then we will sit here for 2 weeks. But I would really like to highlight some of the interesting things, and then you take home all your handouts, and then you can read them properly at home if you have the time. So now you received the content page, and one of the tasks. And Robbie, can I have one? Yeah, okay. Robbie, can I have one? Robbie, can I have one? Thanks. Thank you. Thanks so much. Okay. So you got the introduction page. So it tells you exactly what's in the book, and on the other side there is the content. Okay. So I think it's very important. I'm not going to any details at the moment because you can read all these things at home. What is extremely important? This book is about it caters for the academic module. It caters for B2 level. So if you have students who need 7, don't deal with this one. It's a preparatory thing for those students. It's a short course. It means 40 hours. But you can make it longer with optional hours. It starts with a fantastic IELTS quiz, which is very interesting. We won't have time to, because there are so many good things here, as I told you. What you know about IELTS. IELTS preparation is a two-way thing. One thing that is you prepare language-wise. That's one thing. And the other one, you teach exam techniques. And sometimes I saw some natives, they had to write it for whatever reason. And sometimes they can't score very high because they think, oh, I can do it. No, you need some techniques. You need some techniques, and again, we're going to talk about that later. So it caters for all 4 skills. So if you have someone and he needs to do it in 2 months, then you deal with this. And there's so many good things. Okay, so that was the content page and the introduction. Ruby. Thank you, Ruby. You know what? I'm keeping one for myself, or 2. 1. Okay. Yes. So now we're giving out a writing, a whole unit. So this unit is unit 4, and it's about travel. And actually, I really want to go through it quickly together with you, but I'm going to open up. Okay. Okay, so that is unit 4. We try to save trees, so that's why we put them into, we try to shrink them as much as possible so it's still readable. So, as you can see from the content page, the contents are the most important contents you have to deal with when it comes to the exam itself. So it's education, society, communication, travel, health, and so on and so forth. And now we are just rush through the travel unit. All right. So if you look at the unit, there are some leads in, to gear the student to the whole topic, and then there's a reading. Now, this reading, probably you remember that there was the 60-minute reading task, which consists of three readings. So you can imagine speed reading is something extremely important. Your students have to master, otherwise they wouldn't have time. They will not have time at all to finish. And unfortunately, if you do half of it perfectly and the second half is missing, then forget it. It's the same, bad score what you get. So there are so many ideas how to help students with these skills, speed reading and all these things. Now it's sentence completion. So as I said, at home probably you can read it in details. There is a target time, so again you have to train your students to read as fast as possible, grasping the meaning or the important information they are going to be asked for. And there's a target score. So there are some questions and there's a reading for you. This is how it starts. Then you go on, and there's if you go to the next, that's page 40 here, and yes. How is it? It's on the other side of your handout. On page 40, you will see a strategy focus. Again, strategies. It's not enough to speak English well or to know English well. The strategy is extremely important. So, multiple choice. How do you work with multiple choice questions? What's the best way to have, or how to deal with multiple choice questions. Again, there is a task with a time limit, and this is what I keep telling to students, that time is extremely important. Actually, I think it's if you go through an IELTS preparation, definitely for the academic, and you want to study abroad somewhere, the skills you prepare for will help you in your studies, because speed reading is something extremely helpful if you have loads of materials. So this is a fantastic thing to study if you want to study or in life in general. Okay, so that dealt with the reading part. Now there's the listening part. If you just go on, so there are aims, again, something to help you, and again, some ideas how to exploit this. Okay, and then speaking. So actually in one unit you deal with all the skills. So what are the very important things you have to think about when it comes to speaking? What are the parts of speaking, and how can you prepare for those parts? You are the examiner. There is a box you can see here that is page 43. You are the examiner. That means you put yourself in the shoes of the examiner. So what are the examiners looking for, you know? Again, so it's not enough to speak quickly, you know, and know all the very basic words. If you're fluent, that's obviously very important, but if you don't use very complex grammar or very good vocabulary, then you will get a lower mark. Yeah, so it's not, you know, as I said, it's not enough to be a native. That's one thing. You have to be a very educated native. Okay, so you are the examiner, and here are some ideas what you have to look for. Boost your band score, fluency. Again, ideas and practice. And finally, there is a writing part. So again, if you go home, you will see the writing task has two parts. The first part is shorter. It's about for 20 minutes, and there is a chart. In the academic part, you have to analyze and you have to talk about it. And again, it's extremely useful if you study at university, no matter whether you are a psychologist or a doctor, because statistics and you know, graphs and charts, they're very important in every subject. So you have to analyze them and talk about them. The second part, the second task in the writing is always an essay. Again, it's very good to learn how to write an essay. It's very good because this is a skill you will use, you know, in your life. And again, here in the writing part, of course, there is a kind of lead-in, and there are candidate one, candidate, which one is good, which one is not good. There are so many ideas you can work with. And again, over to you, and boost your band score, advice. So actually this is, as you could see, a whole unit deals with one topic, and it looks at it from different angles from the all four skills. Then after units there is a test file, and I'm going, that's intensive, okay. We're going to give it out to you, not now, okay, because we don't, but before you go home you will have this test file and you can have a look at it. Actually, I'm a bit conscious of time because there are so many fantastic materials I want to show you. So that was the IELTS academic intensive, and as we said, it's a short course. Now, the next, oh, sorry. So this was the structure. Again, as I said, skills practice, obviously, and 8 topics altogether. After every second topic, there's a test file. You're going to get a handout on that. A writing task bank means there are so many models. The writing is usually the most difficult for everybody. Hungarians, I'm not saying struggle with it because it's something you can learn, but this is a little bit different to what we have learned. So you have to teach your student how to write a proper essay. Once they learn it, they can use it forever. So it's really very helpful. These are the materials we went through, and before you leave, I'm going to give you the rest of the handout. Okay, the next. What is it? Sorry, I just try to be transparent here. Yes. So the next book I would like to mention, or the series. This is the Advantage series. So it's very important that it deals with academic module, and it deals with the higher levels, 6.5. In the Hungarian system, accredits 6.5 to középfok, but 7.0 is already felsőfok. So 7.0 plus, that means it goes up to the sky. So the good thing with these, that you can use it in your classroom, or you can give it to your student as a self-study because it has all the answer keys and there are so many exam tips in it. So again, probably, hello. So if you use it in, you can use it in one-to-one, you can use it in a little group. So it's really up to your circumstances how you use it. Okay, let's start with the listening and speaking. Again, it's very important who the authors are, I believe, because if these authors are experienced and they know what they are talking about, not just imagining what the problem can be, I think it's extremely important. So these, the authors, in this case, it's John Marks, and he's an experienced IELTS teacher. It's very important. So he knows what are the, the advantages of certain materials. So he knows how to handle errors. So he knows exactly what he's talking about. There's a step-by-step guidance, so it helps you when you prepare students. And obviously there's again exam practice. What we really like is the model. We see how other people do it. So there are so many models in here. There's this audio CD at the back, and a script, so you can exploit them. As I said, it can be used for self-study because of the answer key. Again, but the answer key, I don't think it's a bad thing. If we are teachers, we want to make sure that we don't say some things which we are not really sure about, and it's not a problem at all. Even native teachers do that. They check the answer key, so it's not it's not something we should be sad about. What the examiner is looking for, again, because it's speaking, you just have to make sure you just not just talk about things, but you use the certain criteria which the examiner really wants to know. Now, thank you so much. So, again, two pages. So, what we have copied for you, one is the content page. So one is the content page where you can see what is covered, and basically again there are 9 units, so all topics which might be on a speaking, they are covered, and as you can see it caters for all different parts of the speaking test. Obviously, if you teach IELTS, you have to find out exactly about the little details of the exam. So the speaking exam lasts for about 12-15 minutes, somewhere in between, and it's a one-to-one situation. So there is the examiner and there is the candidate. It's recorded. So the examiner gives a score, but it is sent out to not just one person, but different people, obviously without any names and any reference, and they also mark it. So as I said, it's extremely secure and extremely high profile how it's marked. So again, this is why it's that popular. So anyway, just getting back to our book. So as you can see from the content page, these are the topics it covers, and we copied here 2 pages for you. This is equal opportunity 44, and sorry, we're going to deal with that, but first I just want to highlight some things. So as I said, there are 9 units, and the first 7 units, there is a diagnostic section. Again, it's very important because you don't know where your student is when he or she arrives to you for the first time. So you have to find out where he or she is, and then he is or she is, let's say, at level 5, then he needs 7 of course, you have to work hard to get that level. This book really helps with this diagnostic section, so try it out first where you are. And then from that point you can build up your knowledge and all your skills. When it comes to listening and speaking, definitely you need to be aware of your grammar. You have to be quite, you have to use very complex grammar items if you want to get high marks. Vocab and pronunciation. When the examiner looks at your or listens to your pronunciation, it's not that you have a Hungarian accent or you have a Polish accent or a whatever accent. There are some words which has to be, for example, event is a very, very common Hungarian mistake instead of event. And that's why nobody understands if you say event. So these are the little pronunciation issues which are very important. If you have an accent, a Hungarian accent, it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine, but you have to be, you have to try to be understood. Okay, it's very important. As we know, there are so many different nationalities who have very heavy accents. But if you can understand them, or the examiner understands them easily because they use the proper intonation patterns or stress patterns, for example, in this event is not good, then obviously it's understandable. You have to listen a little bit. But, you know, when you take IELTS, you're going to study abroad and there are so many nationalities, so everybody will have a different accent. You have to get used to it. So anyways, I'm just telling you that pronunciation is important from that angle. In this book there are, again, exam skills, some strategies. Again, probably we are not going to go into that detail because time flies, and I'm just looking at my watch. You can check it when you go home on your handout. So there are exam skills and definitely practice when it comes to speaking. In one of the sections of the speaking, you get a task card. That's a little card the examiner gives you. He or she, the examiner doesn't see, you know, just draws one and gives you. That's a task card. Can you read that? Yes. And then you have a little time to prepare. Okay, so describe a teacher who influenced you. You should say when and where you met this teacher, who the teacher was, and the subject he/she taught, why the teacher's lessons were special, and explain how this teacher influenced you. Okay, so this is a task card. Now you have to, your student, the candidate, has to look at the task card and look at all the questions and has to answer all of them. Okay, has to listen carefully to fulfill the requirements. Okay, so I have to listen to little details. So answer all the questions in nice English. Okay, nice complex sentences with fantastic adjectives and referring here and there, because he has to talk about why this teacher's lesson were special. You know, so there's so many things you have to listen to. Obviously, the higher level you want, the more complex language you use. Because you can say, I liked her because she was clever. Yeah, but you know, this is whatever, 5. Okay, but obviously there are so many delicate language you can use to have a higher score. Okay, so actually you will have, yes. So this is the task card which is exploited here on your handouts. And I'm sure at home you will have more time to deal with. Yes, because we don't have time here. Okay, the next one is going to be the reading. Okay, so the next one is the reading. Again, you have to know how the exam is put together. So there are 3 texts in total, but this is 3 texts in total, and total, this is the number. These are the number of words. So 2000, 2007 words. They're quite, you know, this is one text. They're quite long, and you have 60 minutes. So it's quite a challenge. It's quite a challenge. As as I keep mentioning, good English is not enough. Again, strategies. So when you teach candidates, you teach them strategies too. Okay, so when it comes to academic, again, it's a very nice phrase. I really wanted to use it. So the texts are for educated but non-specialist readers. Okay, so actually very interesting things to read about. So if you have this book, it's a good night read. Actually, there are really interesting things. University studies in mind, so what I said earlier, so it's a good skill you will have later, how to read these big texts, or how to chunk it down, look for chunks. There's so many good strategies. I'm not going to tell you, you have to look at them. For the general training, because it's different, I'm sure you remember, so the reading and the writing is different for the general training. There are official documents or instructions, but there are also long. And there are so many questions, sometimes tricky questions you have to answer. Okay, this book is for the academic module. It was designed for that, but it's also good for general training. Obviously, if you study something a bit higher, then you are good for the little. I'm not saying lower, no, it's not. It's different. It's a little bit different. And again, the same thing with the usual ones. So it's good for classroom use or self-study. And speed reading is something which it really has a lot of ideas and exercises and different types of texts. Vocabulary, very important. Again, higher levels, collocations, synonyms, paraphrases. Sometimes there is a question where they ask, there's a question about something and oh my God, it wasn't in the text. Yes, but it was in the text with a paraphrase. So you have to be aware. It was a text, it was there somewhere hidden. Okay, so you have to be aware of these. I'm not saying difficulties, because the higher level you are, you know these things, but these challenges. Okay, so again, Robbie. Thank you, Robbie, so much for helping out. Again, it's two pages. I mean, two sheets. So we have 2 sheets for the reading handout, and there is the content. I think as a teacher, it's always good to see the content. So what kind of texts are covered, and you will see, because it's quite detailed, you will see there is always a vocabulary builder, and there are exam skills catered for. So I think it's always good to have the content. And actually there is a spotlight on exam skills. And if you look at page 27, there is a shorter reading, but it's an exercise to have some speed reading. And here in page 26 you will find some ideas. Another technique you can use to improve your reading speed is to just find it out for yourself. Okay, so there are so many good things, good ideas to deal with. Now there is a key, but again we won't have time to do that. Yes, okay. So the next book, so that was the reading. The next is the writing, and I have to tell you, this is what I see is the most difficult thing. I only see Hungarian candidates, or I know about Hungarian candidates. In Hungary, by the way, there are so many nationalities taking the IELTS exam, so many. Because if somebody is here in Hungary, they take it, or it's the same everywhere. So if you take it in South Africa, or in Canberra, or in, I don't know, Moscow, it's the same thing, because it is so strict. And obviously all the IELTS centers, the auditors, they go and check whether the centers do what they have to. So there is no other way. So writing is mostly quite challenging, besides of speed reading, I mean reading long text fast. And again, the authors are examiners, so they know what they're talking about. And these materials, because they're not only examiners but they're teachers as well, so they tried and tested these materials, so they are the really good ones. As in the earlier books, it's the same thing. You can use in different setups, and I mentioned already, task 1 is shorter, 20 minutes and 150 words. It's not that long, but again, if you are pressed for time, obviously you have to concentrate. And task 2, 40 minutes. So task 1 is what I already told you, the chart or the, so analyzing some trends. And the second one is an essay in the academic module. Okay, so, Rogi. Yes, thank you. I think it's one page. Yes. Yes. Okay, again, we copied the content page, where you can see that there are altogether 9 units dealing with different extremely important issues of the reading. For example, opinion essays, advantages and disadvantages essays, because there is just one sentence for the second task, which is the essay. There's one sentence. Please write your opinion about this and that. That's an opinion essay. That's another task. When it's written, what are the advantages and the disadvantages of, I don't know, building, I don't know, a lot of hospitals, I don't know, something. So there are so many different types of essays. So these units cater for different types of essays. Problems and solutions essays, opinion essays, there was number 1 and there's number 2. And from the task 2 in the first 6 units, and then 7, 8, 9, they focus on these graphs and charts, shorter task. And here you can read graphs with a trend, comparative graphs, processing and maps. So you just have to have a certain language to work with that. Again, extremely useful. It is really what you need when you prepare your students for an essay. And these are the areas. Obviously, the higher you want to get, the more complex vocab and grammar you use, the better organization you have, linking, paragraphing, these are obvious things, and ideas and arguments. And so there are ideas here how to use your arguments and how to build up your arguments. What I can see from experience that a lot of secondary school students take it because they want to get into university. And they're not always prepared to have good arguments and ideas. Not always, I'm not saying. Because they're young. That's why. If they're not taught at their secondary school, because of their age, they don't have to, they don't have these kind of conflicts when they have to have an argument. So if their teacher at secondary school they don't focus on that, then you have to tell them how to, have these arguments. So again, I think these skills are not only skills for IELTS, but they're skills for life. So we are teachers, so we know that learning is always something which is good for life, not just for an exam. Okay, so actually, again, something for you to take home and deal with. Yes, and again, so model essays, main idea. Okay. We are not going to deal with that in that very detail, okay? Okay, so last but at all not least, this fantastic resource pack. So, resource pack, so spiral bound. You put it into your copier and you can copy it properly. Okay, because otherwise you can't really copy, obviously because it's illegal and the other thing is not practical. So it's a photocopier book. So why did John Marks create this book? We are all teachers, we are English teachers, and there are so many fantastic games and board games and riddles and whatever, just to make our life easier when we want to end a lesson, or we want to play with our students, or we want them to have a relaxed time while probably a little bit learning. But usually when you prepare your students for IELTS, you think it's very serious. This book actually combines the two things. So it deals with IELTS language or IELTS preparation ideas, but in a fun way. So that's why it's quite a good book because of this. So it's, as I try to point out, it's relevant and fun at the same time. 25 activities it has, which is really great. So it's quite a good library. It meant to be for the academic module, and you can see this is the level. Practice, very, very important practice exams. And the CD for listening. Actually, for this, Robbie, I really want, so first of all you get, yes. No, I keep one for myself. So, you will get a content page. Again, you will see all the activities. Actually, on the yes, I wait for the Robbie to give the handouts to everybody. So we copied for you the introductions. Actually, these introductions are really quite useful because they tell you what the whole concept is. If you look at the content page, you can see that it deals with certain parts of the exam. So the reading, writing task 1 or 2, or the speaking and the listening. And actually there is a whole exam at the very end. Actually it's exam day, so it draws your attention what are the very important things you have to be aware of when you go to take the exam. So as I said, one thing is that you don't take everything with you, because you can only have your water next to you and not even in something like this, but in a transparent bottle with no label. So these are the very strict things. So you have to have this in mind. So don't drink 3 liters before you start the test, because you will spend your time in the toilet and no extra time is given to you. So these are very important things you have to bear in mind. So don't, overdo drinking and all these things. And that's very important. It's one of the units. Okay, now if you look at this, it would be really nice to be in pairs. So probably you are 3. Would you two somehow sit next to each other? Would it be possible? Yes. And probably you 3 kind of play together. Okay, so A, B. Okay, A, B. It has both. This crossword has both, so you are A, so probably you two, the 2 ladies can be A, okay, and the gentleman is going to be B. A, B, A, B. Okay, you can turn your page. Okay, A and B on the other side. All right, so that's okay. All right, so A and B. Okay, so what do you have to do? Probably you are familiar with this activity. It's like it's an information gap, right? So you have a crossword and your pair has a crossword, but obviously the words are different. So you have the words she doesn't have, and the other way around. Look at the words, and you have to do the definition for the other. Okay. For example, so you are A, right? You're A. So you say.
What is 7 across?
Exactly. Good teachers know how it good. 7 across. Can I?
What kind of direction? You have to go up, not upward.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. Okay, so it's a good game. It's a good game, and if you look at the words, okay, so yeah.
Perhaps it's given in the back.
No, it's not here. It's not here. It's in this book. It's in the book, because this is what the student gets. Okay, so you can play the game. So it's actually giving definitions and asking for definition. Yeah, so probably you can try it out yourself. Look at the words. So there are not easy words sometimes. Plummet, low point, fluctuate. Because this is what these business. Exactly, when you talk about a graph, right, or charts, trends. So these are words which are extremely useful for the first written task. Again, you can see it has real value because of the very important words you have, and it's fun. It's fun because you play. You just don't realize that.
Stock exchange.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, we don't have to pay. I just thought that probably you just, as you know, Kati, you did it. You found out what was missing, and again you just go on till the very end, and till the very end you have a full crossword with all the words, and you can go through it. Okay, so again, take it home, play with it. Okay, use it with your students, and remember that if you have this is just one of the fantastic activities, and there are 24 more activities in there, more fun activities. Yeah, for teachers who deal with business, it's easier. But as I said, oh yes, I mean, if you study sociology, these are very important words again, when you talk about statistics and charts, it's everything. Okay. Yes, now it's it was an hour. Good. So thank you. But before we leave for a break, any questions or anything we should clarify? Yes.
Two questions on this.
Yes.
The first question
Yes.
is if these books are available here or for sale.
Robbie, are these books available here?
Is there any discount?
Is there a discount, Robbie?
15%.
I'm sure there is.
From the price. 10 or 15%.
Yes, if you get them here.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second question is more complicated. Is there any program for students with disabilities?
Sorry, say it again.
Any program for students with disabilities?
If there is a hard of hearing candidate, and there's the listening, then they can have an extra, whatever.
TOEFL has some special programs for disabilities.
IELTS also has that. So if, for example, if somebody has, they have extra time. They have extra time, so they don't read and write together with the others, but they write it separately and they get extra time. And with a hearing, yep.
Documentation, some medical certificate or
Exactly.
recommendation.
You have to submit a medical certificate. Oh Actually, if you go online to the British Council website, britishcouncil.hu, then I think it's an easy to navigate website, and you check the IELTS website. There's everything. If you have a student who has problems like this, you have to submit the medical certification well before it, because But everything is there. All the information is there. Yeah. So there is. Yes, I remember we had students with the extra. Yes. Yeah. At the moment, IELTS is paper-based because there's so many students. Being computer-based requires assets. Can you imagine that many computers? I can tell you that every second week there's an IELTS exam in Hungary, in Budapest. And I'm not really sure about Szeged, but there are probably one in 3 months or something, but I don't want to say anything which is not true, so you have to check online. The results are really fantastic. They arrive in 13 days, and 13 calendar days, not working days. No, it's really good. And actually the results, so the results are, there's an overall result, let's say 7.5, and there are separate results by the skill, yes. And it's very important because if your student wants to study in Aberdeen, the university tells you at the language requirement that they require, let's say, 7.5, but none of the skills can be lower than 7.0. Because it's very strange. I thought it's not a problem at all, but there are some, different students are different. So some people are fantastic at listening, but not really good at writing. So you cannot really apply to a university with, let's say, a listening 8 and a writing 5. You can't do that. So there is a minimum in each skill. I think, again, it's very important to bear it in mind, but if you go online to the IELTS.org, I used to have this. I just want to, okay, sorry, probably I want to show you. Oh, it's not my computer, but I try. Oh, yeah. Okay, no. No, I'm sorry, it's not my computer, so I tried to find there is an IELTS website I wanted to show you, and probably we didn't have time. I don't know where, here it is. Okay. This is something you should remember, IELTS.org, and I hope internet works. No, I'm sure internet works. Okay, sorry, just a technical issue. All right, now. No. It's probably somewhere. Yeah, it's here. You know what? I just type it in. Org for organization, so it's easy to remember. So this is the IELTS website. This is the big IELTS website. So you can start from this. And what is very important about the test and test format. Okay, great. Okay. So anyway, so you can come in and we can have a chat on whatever questions you have, okay? Anyway, IELTS.org is something you can check at home. And now we are going to have a 15-minute break. 15 minutes, right? Yes, and then we go on from 4 o'clock. Okay, so we're going to have a little rest. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ja, ott meg semmit.
Igen, azért mondtam, hogy...
Azt nem is láttam, köszi. Oké. Okay, and now, so welcome back. I hope you had a little relaxing break. Oh, you had your coffee, great. And you could have a little browsing at the stand, which is great. So and welcome for the viewers. So hello, we are back and we try to go on. Can I have a show of hands who teaches business English here?
Not at the moment, but used to.
Yes, oh yeah, I know. So two of you, yes. What about you? So you don't teach, but you don't teach at the moment business English, right? But probably in the future. Okay. And you? No, not at the moment. Okay. So what are the challenges of business English? Are there any?
Special vocabulary.
Special vocab, yes.
The students' hard work. Students
Uh,
have to work awfully hard.
Yes. You mean the students have to work hard? That means they have a job. This is what you are. Okay.
They have a job, and also in lessons, they need to work hard. If they don't do that, the teacher works hard, but that's not enough.
Yes, exactly.
It has to be on both sides.
Yes, that's a challenge. So I don't know whether our viewers can hear you. Probably not, but probably I can just reiterate. So our colleague said that the student has to work hard. Actually, they have a serious job normally, right? They don't have time. They are tired. So the teacher goes there fully prepared. And it's quite challenging to get them engaged, and also it's quite difficult, right? Okay. And normally there are high-profile business people. Sometimes they say, "Oh, I can't go to the lesson because I have an important meeting." Then, oh my God. Okay.
No continuity.
Exactly, no continuity.
2 weeks.
Exactly. I just translate for the viewers. So disappear for a few weeks. Business travels, business trips here and there. So it's not easy. On the other hand, when I taught English, why is it different? I mean, is there anything which is easier when it comes to business? It's a question thrown at you. Did you find anything easier?
One hand they are motivated because they
great.
This is the problem that what they mentioned.
So a colleague of ours said that they are motivated because they know that it's a need. They have to use it, otherwise their business is not going to work well. So they are motivated, exactly. So it's a bit of.
Some of them have to study English. They hate it.
Oh. So they have to study English, but they hate it.
And they hate it because the companies force them.
The companies force them. How can you hate studying English? But I don't know. Well, it's just my question. So probably they are very good at German or French, we don't know. But they have to study English for whatever reason. I mean, English is the lingua franca, we know that. So obviously, as far as I know, German companies have English as a lingua franca, as far as I know. Definitely when they are outside Germany. For example, here in Hungary, I heard that from people who work there. Anything what you found?
I think that I'm not an economist.
Okay.
I'm the specialist economist and the businessman or the manager.
Okay.
And I bring the information, and I am the teacher of English.
Yes.
And share this.
Okay. So
Although I should be well prepared.
So we have to. Okay. So we are not.
Cooperative.
Oh, right, it's a very nice word you use. Okay, so actually when we teach business, probably our knowledge is not enough because we are not business people and we are not economists and we are not lawyers when it comes to business law or whatever, or just financial people. So probably we have to read a little bit background, right? So sometimes. But I think you can manage. So you give your expertise as a teacher and they give their expertise as business people and you somehow try to manage the two. But the thing is, when I taught English, business English here and there, but sometimes I realized that sometimes it's a bit the vocab is a little bit more, how do you say, guided. So there are not that many different topics. So they don't have to talk about fashion. No, probably they have to talk about fashion, what to wear, you know, when there's a business. Anyway, so it's a little bit probably more predictable, the topics. So when they go to, probably I'm thinking about business exams. So when they don't have to talk about or think about every possible topic in the world, but there are business topics a little bit more narrowed down. So what I would like to show you now is really a brand new book, really. It's of Delta Publishing, but now it belongs to CLAT. I'm sure you know that CLAT is originally a German publisher, a very high-profile one, and now they bought Delta. Again, it's business. Was it an acquire? They acquired or something like that, or I don't know. Anyway, now Delta. Am I right that Delta Publishing as a whole belongs to CLAT now? So yes, they bought it up. Again, it's merging. I don't know. There are so many different things, but I don't know the background. Anyway, so now CLAT is responsible for Delta Publishing. Me as a teacher, I knew about Delta Publishing because they had fantastic methodology books. So many things which helped us in real teaching. So that's why I was so happy that I have a chance to talk about this. So, Real Business English is the title. And it has 2 levels, B1 and B2. When I was young, I thought that you cannot talk business English below B2. But then I realized, oh, of course you can. And actually life, you know, the real life situation is that there are so many people, and not even B2 but A2, B1 but A2. But because they are in a business environment, they have to use certain business vocabulary and business skills. So this long outdated idea of a B2 level language level, which is needed for business English, it's all history now. So there are more and more very good books which offer a lot of good materials for lower levels. For example, B1. And as the cover suggests, it covers everything which is international. Nowadays businesses, obviously, they're international. I mean, in the real sense of international, so there are between countries and nations. So, actually these books, I'm going to tell you, one of them I just saw in 2018, so this year. But one of the student books, they came out last year, extremely fresh. Some of the components are even more fresh, so there are this year's publications. So with every student book there is a workbook and there's a teacher's book. I really like teacher's books because if you don't really know the material, you get the teacher's books and you go one by one and you can prepare for your lesson properly if it's a good teacher's book. We talked about, we as a teacher, probably we don't know the business, you know, environment. The teacher's book has a lot of background knowledge for you to read, so probably it helps you to enjoy your lesson more. I don't know how you are, but I always enjoy lessons when I can learn something. I can always learn from my students, but I do like it when I learn something from a subject or from a different field. So why? There's so many business books in the market, so many. So why? Well, business is a developing, you know, area. So I think you cannot really work from an old business book. I don't know what do you think about this, but with an old business book with old photos, it's a bit awkward. And I'm not saying I don't say it's funny when they have these telephones nobody uses anymore, and they talk about facts. I mean, okay, there's facts, but okay, it's a little bit history nowadays. So I think when it comes to business, you definitely need a fresh book with all the fresh, the new things in there. Technology, you know, advances day by day. So if a book comes out now, probably in 2 years' time you have to renew it or give a new edition, because there are so many things which are outdated. And it's a little bit awkward when you want to teach a high-profile business person, you know, like a, I don't know, CEO with something with some old traditional things nobody uses anymore. So I'm definitely, when it comes to business, you have to be up to date. So it's brand new, it's communicative. So I think time allows that we go through a unit. So you will see it's communicative, so it helps your student to communicate. That's very important. There are so many meetings, and small talk is very important when they meet in the lift, and all these, you know, things when they have to just have a casual discussion with the other clients, extremely important things. Communicative, it's about communication, but with other things as well, you will see. Relevant topics, it's obvious, and probably, now I asked Robbie to give out 2 contents. Actually, we didn't write the level, so I'm going to ask you to write the level on that later on. And probably we'll guess which level is which. Okay, so these are the content page, and you will see all the relevant topics. And very nice photos. If you look at the photos, I think you agree that the photos suggest that these are fresh materials. So just looking at the content, what do you think? Which is B1 and which is B2? Just looking at that. It's a 2-sided, I'm just trying to see whether there's no hints. Yeah. So what do you think? Which one is B1? What?
B2.
Which one? So okay, B2 or B1 level, which one it starts with?
Training. Working participant.
And why do you think? Why do you think that?
Because even at lower level, you should be able to speak about value or company structures. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, actually, what about the others? What do you think? It's not easy. It's not easy. I'm just triple checking. Yes. Okay. Now I know. So actually, what I wanted you to see here, that the topics are more or less the same, because
responsibility.
And which one do you think responsibility?
16. Okay.
And what do you think? Which level is that responsibility?
Yeah.
Is it B1 or B?
B2.
It's B2. Yeah, actually, it's B2. Yes. So the one which has company structure, that is B1. Okay, that's the B1. So probably you might write it over there. I make a note to myself. So okay, so the content page which starts with company structure, that's B1, and the other is B2. But if you compare the two, you will see that there are reoccurring topics, because for example, a meeting, you have to talk about, there are different people there are different level English knowledge, so we can hear different levels of English, but they both have to talk about certain topics. So actually both have some similarities. That means all these topics are exploited in both levels, but obviously higher level with much more complex language. So we're going to talk about B1 later in details. Okay, we're going to through a unit. Okay. Also for in-house training, what does that mean, in-house training? It says also, so you can actually prepare, for example, college students for the business life or in-house training. That means if there are trainings offered by the company itself, there are so many times the HR department asks a language school to to teach English there. So that means in-house, they're already working there, these people, and there is a language provider who teaches them on the spot, but they are already there. So it's good for also for in-house, or you can use them before they start even working. Clear structure, and you will see, I really like the layout of a page, because I don't really like cramped pages, but it is quite the nice structure. I'm going to, you will see a whole unit, but as you can see, if you just look at this from a distance, if you just look at how the structure is, so for me it's quite transparent, it's quite structured, and it's not like here. Probably there were trends in some years that they were overloaded with reference here and there. And at some point I thought, oh my God, that's too much. I just can't find my way. Where am I? I think it's very nice and transparent. You can see how the exercises or the tasks follow each other. And there are certain things which, like little benchmarks why you can go on. Anyway, so I think it's again very important. Intercultural tips, as we touched on it, and CLAT augmented, I'm going to talk about that. That's something fantastic. And actually, was it with somebody from CLAT, we were talking about CDs. Okay, again, I just want to ask you, when you teach and you want to listen to audio, so what do you use? Do you use the little CD player? What do you use? CD player?
Because my school has got interactive.
Okay, so you're thinking about interactive whiteboard. So you use a CD player?
Yes.
What else? Oh, good. So you download. Good. Mobile. Okay. All right. This is where I want to get to. Okay. So you have things on your mobile. Yes. Any other? How you use listening? And I have to tell you, this is what I do. I download things here, and I have this very small thing, this little speaker, which is so powerful. And the thing is, they are small, not heavy. I put them into my bag and just off we go. And you don't play fidget with CD-ROMs or the CD player is not working. Obviously, it's different from teacher to teacher, but I really like that. So CLAT augmented is something fantastic. I'm going to talk about it later. So with the person at CLAT, we were talking about this technology, and I said that, oh my God, I can't check a CD at home because I don't have any more CD players. My computer is, as you can see, that's my own private computer. That is small. I don't have a CD player or a DVD player in there. And at home, no. So I have to buy how do you say this? It's an external drive if I want to use CD-ROMs. So probably CD-ROMs are a little bit old-fashioned, or they become old-fashioned, and CDs and CD-ROMs. But this something it's fantastic. It's really good. Different accents, but it's definitely going to be with the CLAT augmented. So it's with the audio. Again, units. That means there are so many, but you could see it. Actually, getting back to how the layout is, I really like this. Again, it's something for me quite easy to grasp. So it's organized by unit. It's not overloaded. There's so many white spaces. So you can focus on certain things, and I really like that. Probably I'm a bit, I just don't like these old books anymore, which there are so many things. Anyway, so you can see the units, and there are this appendix with pair work. Again, if you are lucky enough and you have normally there are so many one-to-one business lessons, but if you have pair or few people, there are so many pair work they can play. There's so many information gap and discussions and dialogues and just little role plays they can do. And so actually there are so many hints in the book. Audio transcript, the obvious things, useful phrases again. Word lists, it's so funny, the word list is in English, German. I like that. But it's good for those who want to study a little bit of German or who knows German. CD-ROM is also there with MP3. So if you don't really like your telephone or your tablet, you can still use an MP3 or your CD-ROM. And I wrote CLET augmented everywhere because this is a fantastic new technology. Okay, we have, that is the course book we are going to go deeply into. And we have that's not a, we have that, the workbook. Again, it's business, it's more about communication, it's more about functional language. But of course, a lot of people, definitely Hungarians, they want to study grammar. They say they want to study grammar. You just can't tell them that, okay, we use grammar. Now they want to study. Of course, because they want to see clearly, and it comes from our tradition, which is really good. So we've always been clear about grammar, but we have to speak. And this is the step we have to leap. Anyway, so grammar is here in the workbook. Okay, so grammar explained thoroughly in the workbook, and the vocabulary is explained thoroughly here in the workbook, and there are so many exercises. So this is more of a thing. I know with business people it's not easy to give homework. Have you ever given homework? No. They don't do that, see? Some of them do. So we are lucky we can give them as homework, or we can work with them in class. So the workbook is, it really has these things. Can you see that? Or probably I'm just blocking the view. Key and summaries, and again, it's good for self-study too. So if you have some enthusiastic learners who want to do things at home, they can do that. Teacher's book, again, I love good teacher's books because then you don't have to think twice and suffer. Good teacher's books tells you everything, and actually extra info on business areas, which is very important. When you go to a business environment and you teach them English, I don't think so probably you have this fear that, okay, I don't know about this and that, but because you have some knowledge they don't know, and you don't know their knowledge, so it's a kind of shared thing, so we can share this thing, so I don't think it's a problem. Extra activities. Copy master is something you can copy and give out. Certain games, actually. I have something here, but I'm not. Oh no, I'm okay. I'm going to tell you. Thank you, Robbie. And the other one, which we all like, is an end of book review. We all like that one. We don't have to create tests, right? So it's in there. So this is the teacher's book. And before going into, no, this is not what I wanted. Before we go into detail to one of the units, this is what I just want to show you. So what is this CLET augmented? It's the new, I don't know which generation, 10th generation of technology, fantastic. So what you do, you download this app, it's called CLET augmented. Now I study a little German from it because there are some instructions in German, but it's so obvious, so easy to understand. So you download this on your something, either your mobile phone or your laptop. No laptop, tablet. It's here. It's just tiny thing. Okay. And what you do, because I just it's on flight mode, so nobody calls me. But you need internet. But what you do, you find the book, because there's so many books here, like Bilderkennung. Who speaks nice German? Okay. Anyway, so and meine Inhalte. I think it's my inbox or something. That means my things. So there are two options. So what you look for the book, because so many books, I just show it from a distance, okay? So this is how it goes. So many books have this possibility. So you just click on yours, and then what you do, it scans, you open it up, let's say, You open it up where you see a listening one here. I have it, it's 15. And with this app you scan it. This is what you do. So basically nothing. You scan it and magic, it uploads all the audio. That's just fantastic. It just appears on your phone. Audio, you can just play it as you go. So you can play it online or you can download them so you have them offline. So I really think it's fantastic, and actually this solves our problem with the CD and all these things. So I was really amazed that now it's there with us. So I can just recommend it. Yeah. Okay, so actually, and it's free. So we know that we spent fortunes on CD-ROMs, or the school had to spend a lot of money on CDs, audio CDs, but now it's absolutely free. So you just download it, first you upload it. If you don't want to use it just for one lesson, you don't want to keep it, you just play it online, or if you want to download it, you click on it. It's a very, very easy to use, very transparent thing to use, so it's very easy. You download it and you have it offline. So actually what I did, I downloaded a lot of B1 materials, and I tried, no, okay, actually now it's scanning, don't do that. Okay, I'm sorry, yes, and actually it looks like this. And it tells you, I don't know, I know it's just from a distance, it tells you that real business, English B1, track 5. It's as easy as that. We're going to listen to some of them. So that's the magic, and I really like it. And I'm sure that that's the idea, that all the books have that, or is it?
All the business ones.
Oh, the business ones, fantastic. And there are so many little, for the little ones, I saw that for primary and all these things, so that's great. Okay, and now let's jump in some work. Okay, so that's B1. Yes, that's the B1, and we'll see how many. Yeah. With what? How many? 3 pages. Egyet kérek. 3 pages. This is one whole unit, and this is B1. So one of the ideas from the book is pairing students. If you have more than 2, well actually it's like a little group, then there are so many things you can play with. You can pair students with these little cutouts, or you can put these things together. So this is, don't forget, this is B1 level. So what we do, there are these 2 things match. So you can use it as a game. You put all these things, and students put it together. They put them in pairs. Or you give one part of these are phrases, one part of the phrase to one person, the other part the other, and then they have to find the matches. Okay, you can pair them. It's a good game. So probably, again, I can show it to you later. But I'm going to just read out some of the phrases. To be interested in research. Now, how is it cut together in the middle? So again, you can play with it, you can match them, or you can, find your partner. Okay, so this is the game. You find your partner. You can actually play it with other groups as well. To be responsible for marketing. Okay, again, it's another pair cut into two pieces. You can find your pair, or you can put it together. Okay, so actually this is just one of the ideas which is in the teacher's book. So I think it's a good way to start a lesson or to finish a lesson. So there are so many good ideas. So this is training. This is about training. as you can see, there is, okay, I'm going to show you, there is a kind of lead-in. Again, I just show you how, from a distance, it's enough to see the structure, how it's put together, very easy to work with. Obviously, all the skills are there. So, training, what do you do? In the first part, there is a kind of intro, a lead-in. In groups, write down as many words as you can associated with training, and so on and so forth. And then we dive into into a matching, as you can see. So seminar, intensive course, you have to put the definitions together. Do you think it's relevant for a B1 level student? Hopefully, yes. Yeah, I think, because these are not too difficult, but they are enough for B1 level, and they're enough for these students to be able to communicate, to use these phrases. Okay, now I just want to really show you how the structure is, how it is built up. Again, something personal. Tell the group about a training course you have attended, and if it's an in-house training, obviously the in-house trainings happen from time to time, so you can be sure that they have something to tell to each other. Again, you can see that something communicative at the very beginning. If you go on, if I can now you turn the page, this is how you go on, yes. And then work in small groups. Of course, if you just have a one-to-one, or if you have just a pair, that's okay. So if you have groups, that's even better, because again, it initiates some discussion. So you can, that's the other side of page 6, it's page 7. And then finding the best course. Now I'm going to show you the first listening, okay? Look at so read the ads below. There are 3 different ads. Just read them in very shortly. Okay, so let's play, okay? So we are the students now, so read them, because we are going to listen. And we have to match the speaker with the course they want to join. And probably for the viewers, I'm reading it out. So, first course is about managing your time. And it's going to be a weekend workshop about managing time effectively. So that's the main idea. The second, B, is a Spanish course with a qualified teacher who is a native speaker, and there are one-to-one classes. The third one offers a week-long course, that's not bad, for managers from different companies. So it's not going to be in-house, it's for managers from different companies, and it's in a hotel, in a quiet country hotel. Yes. Okay, so 3 different types. The first is a time management course. The second one is a Spanish course. And as far as I can, the first one is in a hotel. The time management course is in a hotel. The Spanish course, tell me if I'm wrong, is a one-to-one, so it doesn't really say where it is, but I assume it can be done within the company. And the third one is for managers from different companies, and it's in a hotel for a whole week. Now we are going to listen to 3 people talking, and let's find out which speaker wants which course.
2A. I'd like to learn more about giving constructive performance feedback to my team. The problem is that I've got so many appointments every week. The phone never stops ringing, and it's hard to make time for regular, ongoing training sessions. What I need is total immersion, no interruptions, and peace and quiet in the evening. My main reason for doing a course is to meet some people from other departments, but I also want to learn more about staying organized and avoiding stress. That's something I need to get better at, both in my personal and my professional life.
I have to admit that I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Unfortunately, I've never been good at languages, and the thought of giving presentations in a language other than English really scares me. What I need is someone to help me prepare and rehearse my presentations. That would make me feel a lot more confident, I think.
Okay, so we heard all three. Probably one is obvious. The C, or the third one, which is the... Okay, so sorry, so because I can hear different things. Okay, so why don't we just the time management course? What do you think? Which, the first, the second, or a third?
No, it's not the second.
You think the second? Sorry? The first. You think first, you second. So what other people think? You think the second? Okay, we're going to listen to it once again. Okay, it's very short. Okay. Any idea? Any more ideas? Okay, so we think either second or first, right? So which one was up? The Spanish course. Who is going to take that? The third one. The third one. And the managers from different companies. You said the first one. Okay. Okay. Should we just go listen to it once again? Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay.
I like to learn more by giving constructive performance feedback to my team. The problem is that I've got so many appointments every week. The phone never stops ringing, and it's hard to make time for regular, ongoing training sessions. What I need is total immersion, no interruptions, and peace and quiet in the evening.
So what do you think? So that's the management, yeah, because she talked about. You agree? Okay, and the second one?
I'm new in the company. My main reason for doing a course is to meet some people from other departments, but I also want to learn more about staying organized and avoiding stress. That's something I need to get better at, both in my personal and my professional life.
I have to admit
Sorry. So the second, so why we can be sure about that the first speaker wants a management course, and why do we think that the second person wanted this time management? There was something she said.
The first speaker wants something quiet.
Yeah, but at home she can't have it, right?
The second one wants to avoid stress.
And actually, I think I heard that the second woman wants to get acquainted with the company's people, and probably that would be the best place to go to this training, because the management training is for. Is it for the people from the company? The third one, the management. Is it just from one company? The third one? Yes. Yeah. So that's again one of something. But you can exploit this from different angles. So you have to listen to different information. But I just really like this idea that I can use this. I don't have to do anything. That's fantastic. Okay. So again, there is another listening where you just tick, but I'm not going to listen to that. So again, it's another listening for true or false. Then number 8 is coming. Again, another listening from a different angle. But from students, listening is quite difficult. And why do you need to help them with listening? So why is it extremely important? It's important for everybody, but within the business environment. So why do you think it's important? Exactly, different accents. Yes, you sit in a meeting and you don't understand what the other person from wherever, I don't know, India is talking about. It's not easy. You have to get used to this. So you have to get used to different accents with listening, and there are different accents on these recordings. All right. Look at the, again, example. So there is a model, which is always very, if you look at the, that's page 8, and you look at the. So there are always models and always possibilities you have to learn. And again, E, you have to work on your own again and to find more examples. And F is already a talking, a discussion exercise. So when you said you were teaching business, was it a one-to-one or was it a small group?
Everything.
Okay, everything, okay.
Sometimes I have very big groups.
Oh really, big groups? Oh, do you consider 6-7 people big? A big group? Oh, good for you. That means you are used to 1 or 2. 6 and 7 is ideal, isn't it?
Is that ideal?
Oh, not for you. Okay. But you know, it's my opinion. I found it very good because you can pair people differently, so they can, you know, work with different people, so they can get used to different accents and different ways of thinking. That's one thing, and that you can do so many exercises together. That's my idea. Ah, okay. So the
You can go to the whiteboard.
ah, okay. So probably in your business lessons, you just sit at a table, and you can't really stand up because it's a tiny little meeting room or something. Okay. Oh, different situations. Oh, no window. Ah. Prison cell. Well, you call it a meeting room. Other people call it a prison cell. Yes. Yeah, because they want to avoid anything from, you know, the outer world, and it proves to be true. Okay, so there are different environments, but I'm sure you're experienced teachers, and there's so many ways you can exploit these things. I just want to really just rush through. Research on the internet, again, or just from the top of your head, that's G. Again, H, tell your group. So again, speaking. There are so many speaking, so it's very important. Again, getting back to the Hungarian way of learning, Hungarians are famous or infamous because they don't want to utter a sentence before they know it's perfect. And some other nationalities, they don't care. Who are better communicators? Yes, I mean, they probably don't say it properly, but they communicate. So I think, you know, truth is somewhere in between, obviously. So, oh no, I mean, we should go for the perfect sentence, but you will never get there if you push your students down first. They will never ever be that level because they don't dare to utter a word. So just let them speak, let them talk, let them do whatever they can. I mean, you can make notes, you can have your, you know, mistakes or the error corrected later and all these things. So just let them speak to get used to that. Okay, they can say what they want. You are the teacher, you can just listen from behind and write your notes. But don't try to get this thing out of their head that they have to have a fantastic sentence. No, they start from just throwing things together, and sooner or later they will get there. So, but I think the new generation is a little bit different. They're much easier, right? They don't really care, or they're different. So, what I can see, the new generation is more open to these kind of solutions, while the older generation. Yes, exactly, no inhibitions. Obviously, you can't say that 100%, but probably the majority. But what I just wanted to point out that there are so many activities where you have to, your students have to speak. So that's 8, and we have, oh my God, 9. No, it's on the other side. I keep doing that. So 8, and the other side, getting course information, emails, extremely important. It's B1 level, don't forget. So you have to put together an email, different chunks, and you have to order them. And again, it gives them a very good idea how an email should be structured. I think it's very, very important for them to write nice emails. And again, B, sentence completion, and there is a little box with some British and American words. It's page 9. Are we talking about page? Yes, page 9. It's on the other side of page 8. This is how it goes. Okay, 8 and the other side 9. So British and American, which is again very important. So these words are not good or bad. These are different. And again, and there are some South African usage and Australian usage, but we have to emphasize this for our student, that English is not just one word and that's, you know, the ultimate truth, but there's different usage here and there, and we just want to draw their attention to English being international, so obviously you have to understand everything. All right, and then let's look at page 10. All right, so again, writing emails, just some ideas. What do we have to listen when you write emails? And then you write an email. Again, extremely important. And you put all the things you just learned and you dealt with together. With, you know, it's a productive task, so you create an email. And then you swap with a partner and you just talk about what you learned. Again, what happens, you speak. Say you speak. You swap with your partner and you discuss. You speak again. I mean, your students, they speak again. And then there's a little reading. And actually they have to personalize. So it says, read this text about the need for training. Does this apply to your company too? So you have to personalize. This is how they are motivated. They have to talk about, they have to link it to their experience, so they have to talk about their experience connected to this. Again, there is another listening. No? Okay, we are not doing that. So there's another listening again, and you draw some sentences out of the listening. That is page 11 now. And you just learn phrases, and then just to wrap up the whole unit, there is a simulated meeting. And there are some guidelines they have to look for, and so that was the ultimate goal of the whole thing, to have some listening experience, to know some vocab, and then to be able to talk about productively and creatively. So I think it's a clear structure. So when I was looking through it, I found it quite clear and easy to follow and well built and well thought. So that's why I really wanted you to see a whole unit put together. So this was a B1 level, okay, and it's the same thing. You have we're going to give you, before you leave, not now probably, because we are not going into details, but before you leave, there is a whole unit from the B2 level for you to take home. Probably I'm sorry. I think it would be not too time consuming, but you can definitely go through. Yes, the whole setup. Any questions you have? So again, I just wanted to. So why? That's always the question. So why? Why should I buy this book? Because there's so many. I think again, it's fresh. It's very clear. It's very thorough. It goes, clearly from A to B, and I love this. The augmented, I think it's fantastic. It's new technology. Probably I didn't mention, but I think it's obvious when it comes to a good business title, and definitely the title suggests it's real. So actually it was put together with real business people, but I think it's obvious. So with real companies, real business people, real ideas, real materials. Any questions? Yes?
Are there any case studies?
Actually, not in the student book.
But just, don't worry about it at all. Because it's usually useful because there are some...
Yeah. Yes, so I just want to see in the... So what we have...
not so important.
Yeah. No, we have some readings, and actually the readings...
Can be...
Yes, you can exploit them as case studies because they are real situations. They are about real situations, and there are some exercises, some tasks. Yes. These are definitely taken out from a real context, so we can call them case studies. So, but it's not we don't call them case studies and then we build something around it. I mean, they are the other way around. So, real life ideas are in the book.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you don't have any questions, so before you leave, B2 is about company structure, and it's about different departments. It's really interesting. Which department does what, and all these things. I can give you one. Okay. And probably I give you one pair just to remind you that this is a good idea. Okay, just as a reminder. Okay, responsible for marketing, Kati. Okay, it's just a good, just a good way. Okay, you have a whole armory of these things, right? Yeah, okay. But if you are interested, I can give you some of these little things. Yes. It's just an idea to remind you how you can play. What is it? To be responsible for marketing. Okay? Would you be interested to have, just as a reminder? Okay. What is it? To make a decision. It goes together. Meeting. To look forward to meeting someone. Oh, that's a Hungarian mistake. Okay. At networking, to be good at networking. Okay, I'm sure you are good at networking.
I'm doing my best.
To write the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So thank you for listening. Thank you for NYESZE for the opportunity. And thank you for the viewers. I hope they are still with us. Or actually, this is filmed and you can go back if you're interested. I don't know. Probably I won't see myself. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. And if you have any questions regarding the books, here is Robbie, and the stall is still there. So thank you very much. Again, don't forget to put. What are these things? I was reminded.
Both.
There is the. So this is the CLAT newsletter, right? And there is a feedback form in your folder. Oh, you gave it to him. Probably I need more drink. And I think I say goodbye to our viewers and hope to see you next time. Say goodbye and have a very nice evening, everyone.